Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tellman and Fellman, episode 36. This is Harris Fellman here, and
Tellman Knudsen here. Welcome to episode 36. We've got the infamous John Cornetta here
I
today.
hope he's not infamous. You always, I got to tell you, hey, you need to look that word up, man. You keep.
I know exactly what it means. It's just to get a rise out of people, Harris. John and I we were just talking before we went live. Is like John and I don't actually know each other very well, but we have a lot of common friends. I actually just sent you a friend request on Facebook before we went live on this. So.
Well, let me tell you and everybody that John Cornetta is a marketing maverick with a mind that's always in overdrive. Whether he's pioneering groundbreaking e-commerce strategies, cracking codes in affiliate marketing, starting crazy companies, building digital empires from scratch, John does it all with a wink and a grin. This is what ChatGPT says, a wink and a grin. Let's see the wink. Known for his larger-than-life personality, which is absolutely true. I do know John. And endless enthusiasm. John's expertise stretches from beyond the usual. He's the go-to guy for innovative funnels, razor-sharp conversations, conversions, and scaling businesses to stratospheric heights. Everybody, please welcome John Cornetta.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? Thank you for that intro.
Yeah, so
how's it going, John? So let me tell everybody real quick. So this was a little bit difficult dish to set up. Tellman is in Orlando today, running right in the middle of the path.
Yeah, running directly toward the center of the hurricane.
Running from the ocean, the bay side of the path to the middle of the path in Orlando, where there's lots of hotels. And then John is on the other side of that path. Hopefully, he's hoping that it wobbles to the north and enough of it misses Palm Beach County where he is living. But as you can see in the background, his shutters are ready to be shuttered. So there you go. So John, thanks for making it onto the show. Took us a couple minutes to get together too, because you're so busy, and you, like me, hate Skype, so we're not hardly ever there, and we had trouble getting you on the show. So I do appreciate you being on the show. I think you'll be a really interesting interview, because you are at a different side that, Tellman specifically, he never really ran into you, so he doesn't know too much about you. So we'll all be learning some of it together. I know some stuff. We just found out some at the beginning. But how did you get? So this is kind of about like the OGs of internet marketing. But what brought you even before? Like, I consider that like the 2004, 2005 era of internet marketing. And I know you know a lot of people from that time, but you got started in internet stuff even before that. Is that right?
Yeah. It's not really our world, but I was certainly in there, kind of like in the beginning of putting up websites online. I was really interested in that and doing that. And but my actual kick into internet marketing, our little world, was 2008-9. In 2008-9, living in Atlanta.
So what happened?
Oh, so I was in a different business. I was in the business that dealt with adult entertainment. I owned a bunch of retail stores, and I owned some publishing magazines in Atlanta. And,
you own retail stores, like, so selling DVDs, I guess, or VHS. Yeah, was it VHS? No, DVDs.
It was before DVD. And
okay. So you owned them for a while. Okay.
From let's see. First one, 1997, I think, was the first, until 2010. I was in Atlanta from 1990 till 2010. And in 2009 and 10, I switched over in 2000 to current. I've been out of that business since 2010 and just in internet marketing.
But were you doing any adult entertainment? Not you personally. Where did you have any adult entertainment? I did, by the way. I don't talk about it too much, because it predated even my emailing days, and then it became my emailing days. 1999 to 2000, I was I worked for a company. I used to work for a company called iBill, which is a internet billing. You probably would have known it. Yeah. Yep. It was one of the first, probably 2 or 3 companies that that enabled companies to accept credit cards online. Right. And CC Bill was one of them, which I think is still around.
Yeah.
iBill was one. I'm actually I actually was at iBill before they were iBill. Before they were even doing credit card billing, they were just doing 900 numbers. So you probably remember those days as well, where you would call into a 900 number, you get a code, you'd put that code in on a adult site. Let's be honest, I don't think too many other sites were using it. Although we did have one client, I forget what they call it, but there's a company or a couple companies that look in public records for like found money. It was called Found Money. So there was a website that said, "Hey, give us your name and we'll look up at the database and see if there's any money that you forgot about." Right. And so they were using it as well. So that company, and mostly adult sites. And then but did you have adult sites as well, or did you only have the retail?
No. I had retail. I had two publishing companies. I had a regional publication. I had a trade publication that was across the country it was called ASB. In fact, it's still around. It was bought out by a publicly traded company that still publishes it today. It's called Adult Store Buyer with a convention as well. Okay. But how I came on from that business, or if you want to go into that, I will, but to internet marketing, was I was always interested in I was the guy sitting I didn't work from an office much towards the end. I sat in my big mansion on top of a hill in Atlanta. It was, almost, I think 15 or 18,000 square feet. I was there by myself. And I sat there and I was introduced to a company. So one of my providers, one of my suppliers, a guy named Frank Koretsky, came to me and said, "Hey, I need you to help me with something." And I said, "What?" He says, it's a network marketing company, MLM. And I'm like, "Oh, man, I hate that. I'm not doing it." He goes, No. Here's the thing. It's about us. I went, "What do you mean?" It's an adult. It was the first ever adult MLM.
Ooh, okay.
Like, so he meets this guy in a bar in Miami who apparently was introduced, who's a top network marketing guy. And then he's like, "You should see how much money we make in network marketing." My friend Frank's like, "Yeah, you should see how much money we make in adult business." They started arguing. We should put them together. So they did. And they launched a company called All X Club. It was the first place where you could watch and stream video online, which you used to pay for. Like now you get free on what they call, I don't know the name of the sites where you go get it for free. But you could go there and you could make a business out of it. You could bring in your friends and say, "Hey, for $25 a month, you get all the free downloads you want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." So I said, "I'll do it. I'll help you. Why not? I'll do it." So I brought in like 5 or 6 people. And I had, I was really good at it because I had a lot of influence and friends in Atlanta that wanted to just hang out with me. And I'm watching what's happening. I'm working directly with the owners, doing well. It's all online. And I have one guy that I brought, a friend of mine named Scott Stamper. And I looked down and Scott's got all these signups of all these people. And I know Scott from the real film industry. Me and Scott had produced real movies that were in theaters. I was an actor. Scott was a writer and producer. And I said, "Scott, what are you doing different that I'm not doing this thing? I don't help these guys." He goes, Oh, John. Well, and I knew that Scott, also an internet marketer, had launched products on ClickBank. To this day, has them there. Didn't know much about it though. He goes, "Oh, I'm using a squeeze page." And I go, What? That's right. "I don't use your stuff. I use a squeeze page." I go, "Scott, what's a squeeze page?" And that's what started. He tells me about it. And long story short,
what year was that? About what year was that?
That was 2008, beginning of 2009.
Okay. And
I was building, and so I bought that company out. They were getting ready to fold, and
you bought, what was it? The MLM.
Yes, which I didn't think I could really save, but I wanted all their info and the contacts and the list they built of these real people who are marketers, not necessarily in that business. I was switching over. I had sold my company, got going through a divorce. It was a bad time in my life, but Scott tells me what a squeeze page is. I find this world, and I sit there for 16 hours a day, honestly, researching what is internet marketing. And Scott's helped me. He's pointing out guys, and one of the people he pointed out, which we'll get to later, is he points out Mike Filsamen, Basak, and Brad Fallon back then, right?
Totally.
All these guys that he kind of knows, and Willie Crawford, and I didn't really know anything about that business at the time. But I buy the company, it goes out of business right away. It's a failing model. I get part of a list like 80,000 customers who want to market things online, and that's how I switched from industry to our industry. And time for you to ask a question.
So, well, I actually want to add in my own experience too, which is really interesting because it tends to come back to like the value's in the list. You know, a lot of these conversations end up coming around that you're like, oh, I bought this dying company, but I ended up with with this list of 80,000 people. I was I forget the years, probably 96 to 99, something like that. I was at iBill. I went to LA to be an actor as well. And they had me come back. They're like, hey, we want to start a I was getting paid by Microsoft. MSN had launched, and they hired me to work remotely 20 plus years ago, whatever that was, 25 years ago, which, I mean, amazing. And then that ran out. The guys at iBill said, hey, come back. We want to create a live streaming adult site. And this is like Big Brother, but with boobs, and this is when, nobody had more than 128 bandwidth, 128K bandwidth. And we had to bring a T3 into this house. We had 3 women living in the house, and it was called Peep Shack. And then about a year or so later, and it seemed to hit some sort of ceiling. Like we could only have so many members before it burnt out. But I also ended up, with an email list. And I went to, when I was back in LA, I was with an actor friend, and he would drive me home, and he would say, what do you do? And I was like, oh, computers. You could usually get away with that. And he was like, no, like, what do you do? I said, internet. He's like, no, what do you do? Like adult sites. And he said, oh, I want to start an adult site. I want to sell DVDs online. And I'm like, that's the dumbest idea ever, dude. Like, you want to sell streaming. So we started a company together that we licensed content, had a site. We didn't, you don't create your own content. And then, but eventually we just became really good at emailing, and we very, very good at emailing. And this is before 2004, before canned spam. So we were, able to legally.
We had options.
Yeah, we had options. We had options. But I mean, oh my God, it's crazy times though. Like, racks and racks of computers at a co-location center in Los Angeles.
Racks and racks. What a
racks and racks, baby.
Yeah.
Not those kind of rack boys.
Anyway, for sure.
So
on this side.
Yeah. So okay. So you got in. You got in around that time, and then you very quickly weren't doing adult stuff anymore.
Yeah. No, I got out of that. Look, when I go all in on something, I go all in. It's just my personality, and I think it's one of the reasons why today people say, "Oh, he's an OG and he knows all the old guys, and he was part of that." And the reason was I had this drive that I always had, and I had a lot of business sense. I didn't come into this as some kid that thought I'll make money online and what's the checkbook? And no, I had the infrastructure and whatnot. So very rapidly, my claim to fame was in the first 14 months online, I built a list of 450,000 subscribers, and I went on everyone's radar. And, and they said, how did you do it? I sat at my desk for honestly 12 to 14 hours a day, and I built and I built and I built. And David Eisner, I don't know if you know him, says, look, can I talk to you about how you did that? And you mind if I record it? And no. And that turns eventually into if you remember the Warrior Forum, not Warrior Plus, Warrior Forum. At the time, at least, it was the #1 sold and commented on thread ever. And people were blown away at what I was doing, what I had come up with on my own. I mean, back then it was avant-garde. Today it's like old school. You should get it and listen to it. It's really good. It's called.
What was it called?
It's from David Eisner. It's called 450,000 subscribers in 14 months. 450,000 subscribers in 14 months. And something like that. I don't remember.
Okay, so very, very creative, just like the 30K in 30 days, Tellman.
Yeah. He's interviewing me, by the way, David Eisner. I'm at my pool. I think it's just not even an interview. I didn't know it was going to be just we're talking. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. Hey, John, do you mind if I make this a Warrior product? And I'm like, what's that? I swear.
Now, this is like at the same, like we interviewed Jason Moffat a couple weeks ago, and he talked about, was it him, Tellman, that said that he interviewed people? No, it wasn't him. It was somebody like interviewed people back in the day, and then they put it up on Warrior, but then they would use it for SEO. Maybe it wasn't like, so it would be like if you came out with if you would have launched a product.
Isn't that Johnny
Andrews? Oh, it was Johnny
I think
Andrews.
it was part of our interview with Johnny Andrews.
Yeah, Johnny. So what Johnny would do is he would interview people. He'd put it up. He'd put stuff up on Warrior, got kind of a following, but then eventually he would interview people knowing that they had a launch coming up in a few weeks. He would put it up 12 hours before the launch. So anytime someone Googled John Cornetta, they would find this interview about the launch that was happening, and he would just totally game the SEO on it for, whatever, 3 days. Yeah. And that was enough. So that's really cool, though. So I guess, how did you build the list, and how did you do it? What you say it's old hat, but what were the pieces?
Oh man, it's really old hat now. You want to really go over that stuff, but okay.
Yeah.
If you remember back then, there were solo ads, right? Obviously, the ad swapping was the thing, right?
Yep.
And it was not solo ads. So
yeah, we were talking with Cindy Donovan yesterday about safe lists.
What's going on? So safe lists, ad swap exchanges. There was giveaway events, if you remember those giveaway events. That was huge, etc. So I had a pretty good head start, right? I bought that company. I had 80,000, which really a lot weren't opening and clicking for this, but I had that. I started putting up. I remember my first swap.
That's what they say, right? The best way to build a 400,000 list is to start with 80.
So I don't know what I got. I probably got very, very few, and they started opting out. I got in trouble for a lot. Anyway, Scott pointed out a couple different people online, and one of the people he pointed out that day, he says, and there's this guy, Mike Fellman. And he goes, oh my God, he's huge. He's the biggest. And I go, Mike, who? He's telling me about it. He goes, man, this guy's big. And he goes, something like in passing. I was like, yeah, I'm going to meet him, and I'll whatever. And Scott goes, no, you're never going to meet him. He goes, believe me, he's that big. I go, okay. All right. And I thought, no, you're not going to meet him right now. I'm going to meet him.
He's not Michael Jackson. He's Mike Fellman. Relax, buddy.
It was kind of like that, but not really. I mean, Scott really, I owe a lot to him to introduce me to this. So yeah. I sat there, and here's what I did. I did things like, obviously, I took ad swapping once I figured it out to another level. The first one I did with a guy named Craig Raphael, and it took me, I swear, me and my staff, because remember, I still had a full graphics department. I had a content department. I had all types of things for my other company where I was creating magazines and websites online for our corporate structure. So I wanted to do is build a page. I didn't know anything about HTML, designing pages, none of that. And back then, well, you better had known it because there wasn't a lot of people to outsource to that I knew. So we wanted to do a swap, and it took us, I swear to God, 4 weeks, 4 full weeks to set up the page, make sure that we could track all of that nonsense. That takes 5 seconds now. 4 weeks. Finally did my first one, but that's what I did. And when we did the ad swaps, here's a really interesting part of the story. I used to be able to send at some point, and I'll get back to how, so many clicks that it would piss me off. Because on an ad swap, you and I were doing a swap, Fellman, and not you, but you'd say, hey, I'd say, how many clicks can you do about it? That's how we decided we were going to partner at the dance back then.
Yeah, I could do about 1,000. I can do about 1,000.
And I say, okay, I could do 1,000. Okay, 1,000. And I wake up in the morning, and he's at 1,000, like he said, but I was at 5 or 4.
Right.
And I was so pissed.
Right.
Right? Like,
that was not a fair trade.
It's not. So I was with Frank Salinas, who I met during this process way back then too. And I'm telling him how frustrated I am. And he goes, what would you like to see happen, John? And I would say, well, like a fire hose. Once that fire's out, Frank, I want to turn it to the garden. And it would just, if I could have something where when Fellman and I are swapping, it's supposed to be even, but equitable.
Right.
He only said 1,000. If I'm at 1,200, which I think is more than fair,
right,
change it and redirect it to something else. And so it really sounds so odd. And of course you do that, John. So we invented this product.
You were the first guy to do that.
Is that?
You were the first guy to set up.
No, not necessarily. Maybe, I don't know.
One of the first guys.
You thought it was a unique thought. It was an original thought for you, whether someone else was doing it or not. Yeah. Did any software exist for it yet?
I don't think so. So I said to Frank, he goes, if you were to build one or if you were to make this thing, what would it do? And I said, well, I'd be able to manage the amount of clicks going to anyone I wanted. I'd be able to switch on the fly, not like today. It's a missile back then. I was a missile going to Russia. It ain't coming back then. You send out an email, it was gone, right? And I would be able to, do scarcity, and I would be able to base it upon, I don't know if these words were used back then, but we created a product. Frank goes, okay, yeah, thank. Like it was conversation. He comes back like 4 days later. He goes, is this what you would do? Because he was a little bit of a coder, and he had some coders back then. I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, you can do what I can't do, Frank, but I'm telling you, you can't do what I can do either. I'm the market. I get these,
Right.
So we created a thing we launched it called the Click Maximizer. You can Google it. It's still out there. It was one of the original ones, and it was cookie based. So now I'm doing that in ad swaps, and I'm starting to change. Like I can do now swaps with Harris and Frank and this one all in the same day, and I'm getting a reputation. So now I'm doing ad swaps with Matt Basak and Russell Brunson, and I'm in this business now for 5 or 6 months,
right?
And I'm doing it, and so that's how I got kind of up here. And one of the ways I built that list, but it's David Eisner's, and I kind of want to think of that. If you can Google it. With David Eisner, it's 450,000 something. It's a good little listen and good little read.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I that's how I got into. I mean, that's probably where you and I ended up crossing paths. If you were like, because I wasn't doing solo ads. I never really bought solo ads, to be honest with you. I was doing a lot of swaps. I was somebody's JV swap manager for a while, where I would. Or ad swap, you were calling it an ad swap.
Yeah.
So like, what's his name? Sethi, Paul Sethi. Yeah, who became partners with me on other stuff. But I was needing to do something, and he says, I got a list. Just get me people to swap with, and you can get a percentage of both of our affiliate stuff. So I basically, but then I very quickly was like, oh, you know what? I could double dip with a bunch of people. I could have 6 guys like that. So I was managing, 6 different swap lists, and sometimes I'd have them swap with each other, and I was getting a percentage of that. And then that's how I started selling solo ads. Was Brian Addison, if that
Anderson?
sounds right.
Anderson?
Yeah, he somebody asked me, can I just buy a mailing? And I was like, let me ask Bobby if he'll sell it. Yeah, Bobby will take $1,000, and you don't have to do a swap. So because those were like those JV swaps, those are rough because sometimes you might get the clicks, but they might send you crappy clicks that don't convert. So
yeah. You remember the place called Safe Swaps?
Yeah.
So what a name too.
You're breaking up.
I came from one business. I remember Mike Fellman will never let us down. He goes, John, what was that place you guys used to where we met? Where me and Mike met was that place, Safe Swaps. He goes, Safe Swaps. He goes, what a name. It's like, I come from the adult business as Safe Swaps. It was a really creepy name, but that's where I was doing the ad swaps, which was great. And that's how I met Phil Same as well.
So you met Phil Same on Safe Swaps?
Well, yeah. I'm at my computer one of these nights. I just got down to Florida. It's 2011. I've been working my butt off. I know this. I heard the name Mike Phil Same, etc. I bought all his software back then, which was like, it was Viral Friend Generator and those 3 products. I bought
Butterfly Marketing, right?
No, after Butterfly, yeah, it was based on Butterfly Marketing, but it was one that you wrote the 5 friends' email addresses after you opt in, and
Telefriend Pro.
What's that?
Telefriend Pro.
It was one of the Telefriend generators, 3 of his products, and I bought all the upsells. And it was so cool that I bought the product, and then after I bought it, there's Mike sitting on his couch. I thought he was talking to me on the video, saying, "Hey, thanks for buying that product. You might want to get." So I bought all 3, and I built this list on Safe Swaps. I'm one of the top providers on Safe Swaps for sending clicks. I'm number 1 on Safe Swaps for a long time, and I'm sitting at my computer. And I get a PayPal notification comes in, and it goes, "You received a payment $900 from Mike Fellman." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, somebody's punking me. This is like punking me. I'm getting paid from Mike Fellman." So I go and I look, and I'm like, maybe this is real. Next thing I know, a bing email comes in from Mike Fellman. Hey, John, Mike Fellman here, and I just want to let you know that I just saw you on Safe Swaps. I saw your profile, and he prepaid for 3,000 clicks or something, 2,000 clicks. I was selling clicks at that point. And I'm like calling up Scott, everyone I know, could this possibly be? And Frank Salinas. And so long story short, Mike wants to get on a Skype like the next day or something, So I get on there, and that's how I met him through that. And so I sold the clicks to Mike. And Mike bought the clicks, and I blew him away. And he then, like maybe a month later, is on stage in San Diego at I think Frank Kern's event. And I get a phone call. I'm sitting at my desk in Boca Raton. I moved to Florida by then, and it's Frank Salinas. He goes, dude, guess what? I'm like, what? Phil saying on stage. I'm like, yeah, I know where you are. He goes, he's talking about you. So, like, really? So there's a video now where Mike's on stage and he's talking about his product and where to get traffic. And he goes, one of the places is this and that. And have you ever done solo ads and bought traffic from somebody? And
hey, John,
yeah,
I don't quite know what's going on with your sound, but suddenly you're kind of muffled.
okay, let's see.
That sounds clearer. Did you possibly like put something in front of your mic or something?
No, test.
Okay,
Mike, I'm on. Hold on. Okay,
you sound pretty good now, though. You were just going in, your audio was kind of like.
You guys might be getting choppy internet because you're.
Did it not sound weird to you?
It wasn't too bad. Earlier he was a little choppy, but then now he's fine. So I don't think you need to adjust anything.
Okay, I think we're good now. I think we're good.
Sure.
I think so.
So Phil, same mention you specifically on stage.
Yeah, the video's still out there. I think I might have found the reason. Anyway, tell me if that sounds well or not.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up something that Tellman's talked about quite a few times, and you mentioned that you got all the upsells. Like that actually is how you, whether you knew it or not, like that's probably how you got Mike's attention. You ended up on his radar. So like that's one great way to, like, if you're in an industry, a great way to connect with the leaders of an industry is buy all their stuff that makes sense. I mean, obviously don't if they're selling their house.
It's important. Here's the problem with it though, it is a really good way and it totally works. But it doesn't always work, number one. No. And number two is it takes more than just buying all their stuff often. One way to really maximize this strategy is to buy all their stuff and then be their, like, buy stuff for a new live training that's happening. Live doesn't mean in person necessarily, though it could, like a live workshop, a live weekend, whatever. Or if someone's launching a new home study or a new coaching program, buy it and become the star student. Just give it, get to know them by like following their methodology and crushing it. And
by applying it, not just being a student, but being
an implementer, like
their case
go
study,
take it and do all the stuff and become a case study, and then everyone in their company will know you. And that's what I did with Mandusian. I did that with so many different people in order to go. It's a really good strategy.
Yeah, I did that recently in a new kind of venture, not really new, but raising capital for 0% interest for 2 years, lots of money. How to do that? So I paid a guy, took the course. Blew him away, and now him and everyone in his industry knows me and all reaching out. So I raised like $500,000 in interest-free credit over 2 years. I did it in 4 weeks. Anyway, another story. So back to Fellman, we'll get into that if you want. So back to Fellman, he's on stage, he's talking about me, and that's when I started getting a lot of calls from other people. I instantly, very quickly, became really close friends with Mike, Matt Basak, very close friends. Yep. Russell Brunson I knew and was friends with back then, and really quickly. And one of the things I think is, besides buying their product, like you had said, Harris, is, and I believe this in all businesses, is I really did for the longest time. It sounds so cliche, but I always would say, and if you would say, no, John, what can I do for you? I'm like, no. Honestly, how can I help you? Here's a skill set I have. I have a lot of them, and I have a vast resources. Like if you told me right now you needed something, you needed a lawyer or a banker, or you needed corporate structuring, or you needed anything like that, or marketing, believe me, I can deliver it to you. I mean, I've ran, hundreds of millions of dollars in businesses through my life, and I've worked for myself only my entire life. I've never held a corporate job. Raised by an entrepreneur. So I was that guy that always, gave back as much as I can. And I remember with Mike, I mean, in 2011 or 2010, I had him on IM, and back then I forget what it was called, the little thing. I was the only one outside his company, that had him. We became such friends before I launched a product that, guess what? Cindy, who you had on yesterday, I think, was a part of.
Yep.
Did she tell you about it?
No, I don't think so.
She
didn't mention your name.
I mean, she ran with all those circles.
She ran with the traffic exchange circle, and she mentioned the safe swap, but she was with Soren Jordanson and
Yeah, Cindy did it with us for sure. There's no question. I was just being a little coy, but she did. She launched a product with me and Frank Salinas way back then. My first product ever.
What was that called?
It was called Street Smart Profits. And it was because how to make a guy that was street smart, how you made profits. And it was first one, it was a great thing, but it didn't do very well because we were stumbling and fumbling.
Yeah, totally.
We did all right. It was called Street Smart Profits. You can still find it out there. And I did the videos. And so I'm in Costa Rica with Mike Fulsane on the Marketers Cruise because
Costa Rica or Puerto Rico? They went to Costa Rica.
I'm sorry?
The Marketers Cruise went to Costa Rica or Puerto Rico?
Costa Rica this particular year.
Oh, okay.
And so I hear about this thing from Scott Stamper as well, the Marketers Cruise. And he goes, they're all on there. That's one of the things they do. I'm like, and my thing goes off and goes, if I can get on that cruise, I'm in. I'm done. No one will get away. They got to jump off that ship or they got to do business with me. They only have two choices. And so you're never going to get on. It's sold out. And it was sold out. You're not getting on this ship. Everyone can't get on. And not the Marketers Cruise, by the way, the cruise line itself, you're not getting on. I'm like, really? Okay, let's see. I'm not getting on. And by the way, also, the Marketers Cruise itself was sold out, their portion of it.
Right.
Little did they know my sister Patty worked for Carnival Cruise and also worked for JetBlue at the time, et cetera. She had all these travel industry jobs. And she says to me, John, you're not getting on that cruise. It's been sold out. And I said, get me on a waiting list. Give me something. I get a call eventually. I got you on. You can get on. It's whatever the number was. I said, get me on. So I get on the ship. I'm not part of the Marketers Cruise, but I sneak in to the events. Okay. You're not allowed in the events, and I'm going to sneak into the event.
That's great.
I'm going to meet this guy, Phil Save, who I met him, by the way, on Skype already, right? He knows me, but I never met.
Right.
I don't meet anybody else. And I walk into the room, I was quietly, and Mike's on stage talking to the people. And there, ladies and gentlemen, and there's John Cornetta. I want everybody, he stands up like, oh, I'm trying to sneak in because I'm not paying for this thing. But anyway, Lou Edwards, if you're seeing this, you know you did this, comes up to me and goes, I don't recall seeing you on the list. Only $600. So you got to pay $600. So I paid Lou $600, and it was a great time in the market because we made a lot of money. So we're in Costa Rica, one of the stops, and Mike says, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I remember I was still kind of starstruck at the time.
Right.
We're going to the beach in Costa Rica. You want to join us? I'm like, yeah. And we became really close on that one trip to the beach that day. We're sitting there in shorts. We're outside of the internet marketing kind of arena. Why you should go to events people and why you should go meet people in real life as opposed to just like we're doing now. And Mike says, so what are you up to? And I'm like, I'm launching this product. And he goes, really, tell me about it. And he says, why? He said, why? I guess he's not like, I was thinking like, he's like, well, maybe he's going to promote, maybe I'm afraid, maybe Mike will promote. I start telling him.
By the way, you're a little, it's because I think you're too far away from your mic. I think that's what's happened. That's what happened before.
Can you hear me now? Test? No. My mic's a Yeti. Is it any better?
Yeah.
My mic's a Yeti. It's usually pretty good at picking up.
Okay, just point it towards you. Yeah.
That's good. Better even so? Better there?
Yeah.
I apologize. All right, so Mike ends up real quickly here. Can you hear me? I'm paranoid about it now. Anyway, Mike says, look, I'll not only promote for you. Here's what I'm going to do for you, John, because I like what you've done for me and blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna promote for you. I'll help you write your swipes. I'm going to give away all my products for all your people for free in the background. I'm going to give you my private, one-on-one with me, PMing me. You can ask me 24 hours a day how to help your launch. I'll guide you through the whole process. I'll hold your hand. I'll do all that, man. I really like you.
Cool.
And he did. And I owe him for that.
Yeah.
And it went off, and that's where it began. And it was, we brought in Cindy. Because
and what year was this?
Sorry?
What year was this at this point?
2011, 2010.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. 2011, I think.
Yep.
And that was the Street Smart one.
Yeah. And Frank and I had built it out, and Mike's like, I'll help you with the swipes, and I'll guide you where you should go to shoot video. Maybe you had to go somewhere then to shoot a video and like a sales video. And I went to Orlando. I drove to Orlando of all places. Brad Fallon had a place up there where you could record videos and recorded with him. And but we had a little problem. We didn't know enough affiliates, Frank Salinas. And Frank had the technical aspect of things, and I was the face of the product. And so we said, Cindy, we're in a bunch of Skype groups with Cindy. And that's how that came about. One of the things that I had done.
Guess she was like the networker for you? Is that?
Yeah, kind of. I think if I recall, she was a networker. She had some people, I'm pretty sure, like she could bring in some more people that would make sales for us. At that time, Skype groups that had come about, I had 10 Skype groups maxed out at 300 people in each group.
Right.
And people waiting on swaps, solo ads, product launches. I still have them to this day. They're dead. No one's there anymore. They moved on to Facebook. But that's how we met Cindy. And Cindy came on, and that was launched. And it did okay, but it was not great. It was like I learned a lot of lessons. Like, ooh, you're not gonna retire after one product launch.
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, 2011 was a long time ago. So fast forward, a
lot of years,
12 years. And where does that leave you now? Like, what are you focused on today? Like, what are you working on or toward? Where are you at as things stand?
Well, I'll give you a real fast forward. I was doing the traffic solo ad selling at that point all the way till 2014 or 15. I went into the e-com business, decided to try out t-shirts and whatnot. And back then did a lot, did like 1.7, 1.8 million my first year doing t-shirts on Teespring.
So they were drop ship t-shirts. You didn't like have a warehouse full of t-shirts.
Didn't want any of that. Never did like these guys did today. And then went on to Shopify, where I also plugged into people who did the drop shipping as well. Did really well from 14 to like 2018 or 19. Did mostly e-com in addition to what I was doing. Did a lot of money in e-com. Became an e-com expert, if you will. And then rolled that into. Went into Groove. We can talk about that, later. That's not what I'm doing right now. And then today, I'm just kind of living, sitting on my laurels. I made enough money where I don't have to work too hard, but I still do. I have 2 partnerships I can think of. I have some stuff with Frank, of course, Frank Salinas, and we launch products and we build lists still, and we mail out traffic once in a while and promote those things. And have that. I have another company that's my own, that I do my own little products and things like that, and then a couple other partnerships, and I'm still working online, of course.
So the stuff that you have with Frank, is that all the stuff I see on Warrior Plus? Do you guys just do you put it up on other platforms?
Oh no, we put it up on other platforms. We have it ourselves. I mean, there's a couple things we do. I can pull up me and Frank, or why you want to know what we do? Kind of all our stuff.
No. I'm just curious because I work for Warrior, so I like to see that if people like I like the case study of people that have their products on multiple platforms. There's a lot of people that like Cindy. Cindy's on. She has it on Thrive, on Warrior, on JVZoo, on ClickBank, everything. And I'm always interested in that and a little bit of why. I guess you look at Warrior as its own audience, and wherever else you have it's a different audience, right?
Yeah, for sure. So like the software right now, we have 2 that are on Warrior Plus. We have one that's just not at all. We kind of just self-promoted ourselves. It's
I'm sorry. You can say the name of the products. I didn't mean to cut you. Like you were about to like. I was like, oh no, we don't. I didn't mean it like that.
If you want to do some shameless self-promotion, like feel free.
Okay, great. So go to www.
Serious, yeah. If you want to.
Frank and I have a couple of products. We have one called the Click Generator. We have one called the Click Multiplier. Do you see the theme? Because we started with the Click Maximizer, our first one, the rotator.
ER theme. You got the ERs.
Yeah. So, and we have my traffic partner. These are sites that Frank is at. Frank is really good and has been in the business of traffic exchanges, like you said, and safe lists and things like that for a long time. He's built 50 or more and sells a lot of them. So he had said, John, I don't really do it, but I don't know the technical end, but I'll sure be a part of it, and I'll help out Frank, and I'll whatever promote. So those are that types of things. And my traffic partner is an ad exchange where members join. There's like, I think we have 6,000 or 7,000 members and maybe 2,000 or 3,000 paid, and they place ads, and then there's an ad widget that they load on their site and it shows on other people's sites. And the more your ad shows, the more credit you get, and the more other people.
Similar to a traffic exchange concept.
Without getting mailed anything, without the annoyance of getting mailed all those emails. So we have that. And Frank and I also do, like other product launches from time to time, as opposed to ongoing memberships, and some traffic sales and some coaching to people and things like that. And that's.
And then what's the stuff that? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so with what you're working on today, what do you need help with, or what are you looking for? Whether it's from Harris and I or from our viewers, what are you? Who are you trying to bring toward you right now?
It's funny that I was asked this before. I was a little uncomfortable asking for help from anybody. I just always admit, and I was at a mastermind that Tom Beal.
Yeah, we interviewed Tom several weeks ago. Yeah,
great personal friend, like a very close personal friend of mine. And he had this mastermind in Boca Raton. I was one of the first. I was the first guy with him at the very first one. And this is maybe a year later. It's the Marketers Cruise number 4 for me. And you go around the room. The way Tom had it set up is you walk around the room and you tell everyone a success story. And then everyone tells their story. You come around and you're asked, you get to ask everyone something a problem you're having. I don't have a great website. I need help. Who has a website designer that can give me that resource? And then you answer as well. So you're sharing a story, giving a problem that you need help with, and you're providing solutions. 3 things everyone's doing. And I knew it was coming around to me. There were all new faces there. And the reason there were new faces is Tom did this one like a day before, 2 days before the Marketers Cruise was to leave out of Fort Lauderdale. We're in Boca Raton, 10 miles away. So all the people that were going on the cruise that were normally never at Tom's thing were there and showed up at this particular one. So instead of 10 guys there, there's 35 new faces. And it comes to me and they go, "And John, what do you need help with?" And by the way, sorry, Tom and everybody else, I was the star at this mastermind. I'm sorry. I was giving everyone advice and their Facebook ads and how to, I was running huge amounts of money. I was spending, I think, $5,000 or $6,000 a day on Facebook ads back during that time. And it comes to me, and John, what do you need? And I said, this is going to show self-promoting here. I go, honestly, guys, I don't need anything from you. And everyone was asking me something. I said, I'll tell you one thing. I said, I'm building water wells in schools in Africa right now. That was my big thing. And it was kind of like emotional. I need help. And so if any of you guys want to chip in and help in that, I'd rather have that than anything else you guys can give me. I don't need JV partners or anything else. I'll give back to you. But if you want to do that, let me know. And I just do that out there. And everyone's leaving. And thank you. Oh, that's great. And the next person, right to the next. 2 guys walk up to me. "Hey, John, man, that's really good. Here's a check." And they hand me nice size checks. Okay. So they hand me, 4-figure checks, each of them. And we want to be a part of this. At that time, I'd already built, I think I had built my 2nd or 3rd well in Ghana. And some other, I had sent 6,000 T-shirts, and I sent 1,000 pairs of sneakers to the needy there. And which by the way, I was selling, and it was returns being shipped back to me at the time that I had nothing to do with anyway. So I got them shipped over there. And
I was going to say, what did you have printed on it for them? But it was
so funny. I have pictures and videos. It's hysterical. They're running around, they're thanking me and whatnot.
You've got all these shirts with random people's names on it that were returned or something.
So the 2 people, you may or may not know them, that gave me that, and are close friends. Is Carl Bryan. Carl is probably the industry expert leader, in my opinion, in the coaching field. He's written books, real books, published it. He owns a company called Focused. He owns the domain Focused, focused.com, focused.com. Great domain name. It has over 2,000 or 3,000 people that use his software, coaches, other coaches that you would know. He's just a great guy. You can Google him. He's very well known. If you know him or not, I can't believe you don't know him. So,
but so rather than that, Tellman asked the question, and he split it up. Instead of saying, "What do you need help with?" What kind of people are you trying to attract right now? That might be.
Oh, you want to know for real?
Yeah, for real.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. I work long hours. I work by myself. As far as like for sales, for help with my company, exactly what?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying, like, dude, Harris and I interview a lot of people. There are a bunch of really smart people watching.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Opportunities, honestly, to help other people, because I do know it sounds so cliche that if I do help other people, like if Harris says to me, "John, I really need help with this," Harris is going to make more money for me. It's not necessarily about the individual specifics of a deal or the metric or the one thing that may come across. Like, I really need, guys, what I need is an SEO expert, because the SEO expert would really take me to the top. I don't work that way, and my companies aren't that way. I'm more of what can I do for you? I know it's going to come back for me. And if I can think of anything, I'm looking around my room, what I need and around my head. I have the traffic, I have money, I have friends, I have connections, I have websites. I need more of me. If I can duplicate myself, that would be great. And I have a problem in that area. So that would be, yes. If somebody could have me train, a better way of training VAs and getting them to take over responsibility so that I can move on to the next one. That's always been my difficulty in business. It stopped me from becoming.
Well, you have kids, right?
I have 3 children.
Well, dude,
you're well on your way. I have a grandchild. What's that?
You're well on your way then.
To cloning yourself. So what about how much have you dipped into AI? Because that seems like a good way to clone some of you.
Huge. I'm not considering myself yet, but my goal is, and I plan on within the next, 2 years to become known as one of the top 5 to 10 people in that industry, in our industry. And I've done that a couple of times. Like I study it a lot and I use it a lot every day. But it's more like it doesn't work for me for the capacity that I'm talking about here.
Right.
Delegating things and making sure that they're done over here and checking and so on. I'm used to that corporate background, which I miss now working from just my home. So,
yeah. Interesting. Cool. So John, when you look back over your entire entrepreneurial career, right? Are you familiar with Dan Sullivan, strategic coach?
Yeah.
You know the idea of unique ability?
Unique ability?
Yeah. So unique ability, it's kind of where what you love and what you love to do, what you're really good at, and what you make the most money at all cross over. Right. And so if you look at all of your businesses or projects, like what's your special sauce? What are you actually great at doing that probably runs through all of your business projects? Right.
That you love to or no?
You have to love it. You have to be great at it, and it has to make a lot of money. Like what's the sweet spot for you? Where are you excellent?
Yeah. So I really, really love, and I do this really well. I think I'm an expert at taking something and looking at it like no one's looked at it before from 30,000 feet, if you will, and changing it and optimizing it. I like optimizing pages, and I don't like doing the work. I mean, I can look at something and go, no, that needs to be there. That needs to be here. I love that. I love driving traffic. I love being able to tweak things. Driving that is I think that I could go honestly to NASA, watch for a few days how they do it and go, no, guys, you need to do that. And I would be right with 1 or 2 things. And I'm not technical at all. And so right now I'm consulting for a company, one of the things that I'm hired for, and they're great at what they do. And they don't need any more sales, but they want sales. So I'm working with their team right now to get more sales by driving more ways, increasing their traffic coming in and increasing how it converts through their funnel and looking at every single step of the way. I love that. Do I love doing the work? Changing the page, any of that technical stuff? No. I want to go, you do this and you do that. And I'm king of the castle. I have to be that. They have to have the staff, but I'm really good at that. And through my career, whether it's been offline or online, I've been able to optimize, get more customers through the door. And when they hit the door, and I could probably explain this better from that offline perspective, getting the most dollar out of each person that came through the door while making sure that they left going, thank you for taking all my money. That was the greatest thing ever. Right. That's what I love to do. It makes me happy, and I'm really good at it. I really am, and a few other things too. But
awesome.
Does the second part of that applies to your online as well, right? I mean, you know how to get the most
online. I think I know it even better than I did offline.
Right.
And then I also love the aspect of I do love the legal law, and structured the businesses. Like I could take the bar exam tomorrow in any state and pass it. I didn't go to law school. I didn't go to college. I barely graduated high school. I read Westlaw cover to cover. If anyone knows,
I challenge you to pass the bar exam. Like put your money where your mouth is, there, John. Like I want to see this happen.
I can't tomorrow. It will take me 6 years. You have to do 2 years of after.
Oh, they won't just let you take the test. You're saying?
No, you have to have done 2 years of law school.
Right. They won't let.
They let AI take the test. You should be able to at least. Isn't it? They should be able to take the test.
No, you can't. You have to be a graduate, 2 years of law school, 4 years of college, and then take.
Well, do what you did on the marketer cruise. Just sneak in.
Let's sneak in.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I'll challenge you. Yeah, I'll try to take it.
Cool. Well, John, I mean, is there actually a website that you'd like to promote where people can go and find out more about you or get on your list?
Yeah, sure. You can go to johncornetta.com. You'll see a video with Groove and Mike. If you'll say interviewing me, there's a 30 or 20-minute video there that tells about my life. It's very powerful. It talks about my path that we just talked about. It's emotional. You'll see me cry in that video. It talks about my career path as well as my personal life, and I'm getting emotional just talking about the video now. So
now I know my most popular Facebook video ever was like where I completely started crying and talking about my divorce and all this stuff. Like, and people love it. You know, they love the emotional stuff. It's true.
Mine was my dad dying, but yeah.
Oh man, no, but the real deal stuff, the real struggles that people have. People bond. I mean, people
so
really bond.
Gabriel Ramos on my page. He says do you know Gabriel by chance, John? No, I don't know him either.
I'm not sure.
He says he's an SEO expert with more than 10 years of experience, and he has a professional SEO team in Florida too.
If you need that SEO guy that you mentioned earlier, we got it for you.
Yeah, great.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you for
rock and roll. Cool. Well, John, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, well, I feel. Thank you for coming on. I mean, thank you for coming on. Thank you for having me on. And, I really appreciate it. It was nice. I was a little nervous, going through certain parts of my life. It's like you're being dissected live TV kind of. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
But, well, we didn't really. We talked more about it before the show. I mean, you can talk a little bit about you did help found or you founded really Groove and you created that partnership. A lot of people that hear this will know about Groove Digital. Yeah. Groove Digital, right? Yeah, and
who knows? There's so many grooves now. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. There was Groove Solos. That was a partnership you set up between Groove and me, actually.
Yeah, so many grooves, funnels and pages and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the idea to begin with?
The idea to begin with, it was an e-commerce software. I was doing the customized e-commerce that we were talking about, and I was doing it with. Frank was doing it. Chris Reef, if you know him, who's a partner of mine now as well in another business, was doing it. And I was trying to create software to duplicate what Shopify was doing because I was tired of getting closed down by Shopify every.
Why were you getting closed down if you're just selling T-shirts?
That's another story. I was getting closed down by Facebook and I was getting closed down by Shopify over and over.
Time.
Really? Okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay if you don't want to.
No, I can. I don't care.
Yeah, what did Shopify not like? What boundaries were you pushing with Shopify? And then I mean, Facebook, forget. I mean, we could throw a stick and hit 20 people that get shut down by Facebook.
Might have had trademarks from other companies and what on the products, trademark. Okay. Products. And I was getting closed down because remember I wasn't selling 5 shirts.
How close was the stuff that you were selling to a trademark though?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not licensed to practice law, Harris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close enough.
It comes back to that, does it? Okay, I got you.
And so I was getting closed down, and a lot of people were lots of people were being closed down by Shopify and Facebook and whatnot. So I thought, anyway, besides being closed down, I'd rather have my own software that I owned and take a piece of it and all this other crap that Shopify was doing at the time. And so I started developing a piece of software. What I really wanted to do, though, was I wanted a piece of software that would create the shirts and create the sneakers and whatnot, the image of them, and put them up for sale, and then contact the manufacturer in China and do all that work. I wanted to create that.
Right.
And so
wait, but did Groove ever do that?
Yes and no. Yeah.
Okay. I see. I only knew of their existence once they were doing maybe Groove pages, Groove funnels, I didn't know any. I still don't know anything about an e-commerce side or a print-on-demand side or whatever you want to call it.
And that's the genesis of it, if you will. That's the beginning. Was that there's a company out there that's called very big name. I'm going to plug them here. They're called Pillow Profits, and Pillow Profits was the ones that you can put an image, any image, your image on a pillow. It started with, and then sneakers and everything you can imagine. Have it customized, printed, your bed sheets, etc., and it's shipped to your door. And then you, as a marketer, you can use them as a tool, hook them up in Shopify, just like you can anyone else now, and the products are yours. They have Harris's face on it and Harris's dog, right. But they don't exist. They're not real until you buy it.
Right.
When you buy it, it's printed, in China, wherever, and shipped to you. They had that.
Right.
You still have that Harris face pillow that I sent you?
Yeah, I sleep on it every night. So I wanted to create that piece of software, the pillow profit one, because I was using them, and I did the math within about a week, and I'm like, they're making 80% profits. Then just sitting in the middle, I want to do that. So
they weren't even the manufacturer.
They're nothing. And lots of people do that today. You know what I mean? They're just sitting in the middle. They find a guy in China that'll do it for them, deliver it to them for $2. They go back and they say, hey, it's $8. You as the marketer go sell it for $16. And for whatever that price they sell it for, it gets shipped to you directly. So that happens every day, right? So I'm going to create this somehow. And Chris Reefer, I just was talking about earlier, who's a partner of mine in some other things right now, traffic things and whatnot, a great marketer. He and I are both selling stuff online, sneakers and whatnot, and thought, hey, you're both doing it at the same time. We're both I'm trying to do that too. So we began to talk. We had an event in Tampa where we were going to train people on how to sell t-shirts and sneakers. Sneakers was the big thing then. And at the time with sneakers, I was selling 500 to 600 pairs of sneakers a day back then. I was doing 50 to 60,000 a day in profit in sales in my one Shopify store. One store, 50 to 60,000 a day.
And then as soon as they decided they didn't like something, that went away.
Yeah, but I had 10 stores and 40 Facebook accounts, and I had the one thing didn't hurt me, but eventually it could kill me. So I realized that that was a problem. And they weren't all trademarked. There was a lot of other things as well. But for instance, we decided to go teach an event in Tampa on e-commerce.
So you're saying you can't just have a print-on-demand sneaker that you print the Nike swoosh on? Is that?
Oh no, you can't do that. You didn't know that?
Well, it's just a design. What's the?
Yeah, who says that they own those arches? They're not their arches anyway.
Oh, it's funny. My roommate in Barcelona, he owns a comedy store. He bought some McDonald's tennis shoes, but I think he really got them from McDonald's. But they were, I was like,
it's funny.
But they actually looked pretty cool for it being McDonald's. I was like, those are actually pretty cool.
Are they red and yellow?
Yeah. It was. I don't know. They were white with the features on.
It'd be pretty sweet to get some Ronald McDonald Converse.
Yeah.
There you go.
On the outside.
Yeah.
Mine was so cool. I'm telling you, people would love them. I sent Matt Basak, Ron, Devon Brown.
Devon, yeah. I sent
them sneakers to their house to this day. They're like, dude, those sneakers or that hat or that whatever. Thank you. They posted on Facebook. Like, Devon's awesome. A big Dolphins fan like me. So what did he get?
Dolphins
sneakers.
Yeah.
And he wears them to this day. You'll see Devon pointing out those sneakers, right, Devon? And so we had this econ thing in Tampa, Chris and I, and Head Back to Groove. And we're teaching people how to do e-commerce and whatnot. And there's a guy in the audience, or one of the people that came to the mastermind, paid for the mastermind, is a guy named Matt Seralta, good friend of mine now, that knew Chris. And they were kind of friends and partners. And that's how me and Matt Seralta, who's 1/3 of the 3 owners at Groove, met. And that turned into me saying what I was working on this, wanting to do this software to do this. And Matt had a little kind of e-commerce thing like Shopify. I didn't want to rebuild Shopify at the time. No, right. I wanted to rebuild Pillow Profits first. That little plugin, if you will. Shopify was like the moon, but the plugin was like, that's like opening a bar. I could do that. I can open a bar. I don't want to open up McDonald's. I don't want to open a hamburger stand. That's how that met. And then Matt and I got together and we started actually working on that plugin. And I didn't know it. Matt had also a Shopify replacement type of thing. He wanted to, in his time, do it. So we started, hey, Matt, can we be partners on that? Or I'll consult you. And that's how that began. And then one day I was talking to Frank Salinas, called him and says, John, this company's for sale. I forget the name of it. You guys would know it, though. It's not paid. It was an affiliate marketing place. Just recently, it was in 2019, it was sold, and you can buy it cheap. So I'm like, okay, let me find out how cheap. Anyway, I ended up calling Mike Vilsain about it and saying, what are your thoughts? And that's more the conversation went. I remember I was in the Publix in the middle of the night shopping. I'm on the cell phone talking to Mike, and he goes, John, you asked me to be partners on you with this? I don't understand where you're going. I go, no, I'm like, why? Do you want to be partners with me on this? He goes, well, if you ask, I always want to do more things with you than I'm doing already. Yeah, I'll be partners on it. So that's how that began. And then Mike called. I'm like, I'm going to be partners with Mike Fellman on something. Remember, we're going to own something together. Finally, and this was way later. And
Cool.
a night later, I get a phone call. It's Mike. I'm like, hey, John. Hey, Mike, what's going on? I got some bad news. I'm bad. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do the deal. I'm like, what? It was something I did? No, the deal's great. I love everything about it, but I can't. The software, the place that we were going to buy, it's just too old school. It can't be rebuilt. Anyway, he doesn't want to do it for those reasons, not do it with me. And there's not like, I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah. Hey, Mike, there's something else. He goes, what? I've been working on this e-commerce type of software with a guy you don't know, a guy named Matt. And it's really cool. It's like a Shopify thing, but it's really good. You should maybe look at it. And he says, let's look at it. Okay, I'll look at it. And that's how that began. And we got on a Skype call. And it's me, Matt, and Mike. I'm introducing now Mike to Matt. I'm in the middle. And Matt starts to show us the software. And he starts to demo the software. I think I named it an awful name. I can't even remember it now. It was so awful. It was like 5 words you had to remember, and you had to write them down if you ever wanted to remember them again type of name. It was awful. I forget. But we're watching it, and I'm getting text on the side from Mike. And he's going, dude, you don't understand how much money we're going to make. Dude, you don't know how big this is going to be. I'm like, what are you talking about? This doesn't look that great. So long story short, for that part, Mike's always wanted to get into e-com, the side of things, software side. Didn't because he felt like a fraud because he never had done e-com. Right? And so what he says is we end up making a deal where we joined forces with Matt, and that's how Groove got started. We brought in somebody else, and Mike, says, look, we can fix this thing. We can turn it around. We had to convince Matt. Remember, Matt owned 100% and had partners. We had to have him. Matt says, so we're going to do 50-50, whatever. Mike's like, no, we're not. We're going to do it like 70-30. And we're each going to think we're going to be equal partners. And that sounds like obvious now. It was a hurdle. It was a big hurdle to get over back then. And that's how Groove got started. That's a genesis of it. So we eventually launched, I'm skipping forward a little bit, but Groove econ platform, which is Groove Cart with a K. That was the
Groove
first
Cart,
one.
I remember that. Okay.
And then the problem with that was it probably shouldn't have been the first one to launch in the big picture of things. Everyone to this day, or a lot of people think of, Groove Cart. Oh, Groove, they're that econ thing.
Think healthier thoughts.
Alexa, stop. It's remind yourself to stand up, move around, and think healthy thoughts. So,
that's nice.
Yeah.
Think healthy thoughts, John.
Yeah, healthy.
That's right. It's good.
So that's how it got started.
Oh,
Cool.
cool. Yeah, I guess I wasn't paying attention. I do know of Groove Cart more than now that you mention it. I didn't know that was the first piece.
Yeah, well, Pages was right behind it because we also bought out PageStead. You remember them? They're a huge white label page builder. They did work for Kartra and for Russell. They were the kind of the back end for all of them.
What was it called?
PageStead.
No, I never knew about that.
And we bought them. We wanted to go with them and to buy them out, their software and whatnot. And we ended up, he became a fourth partner on Groove. And instead of having to develop for years and years, we light years jumped ahead by bringing him in and his team. And we launched Pages almost back to back. It was still something we ended up scrapping, honestly, what he had completely and rebuilding from zero. Because the technology at the time was like 2015, 14, which everything has been built onto then. Even now, except for the new ClickFunnels, I think the 2.0 is not, and Groove was not. So we did that, and that's why they were launched back to back, and why people don't really remember as much Groove Cart, because it really wasn't quite up to speed back then as it should be, and Groove Pages pounded on the scene. And then since
and Groove Pages came out a little bit after ClickFunnels, and so that's kind of similar. It started
not longer after, but
what's that?
It came out way after.
Oh, way after. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess once ClickFunnels was getting momentum, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it's even after Kartra.
Okay.
Even after Mike had already left Kartra. Mike had already built and then was bought out of Kartra. So it was after that. So right?
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, we're talking 2018 or 19, something like that. No, 2017. 17, 18 is when Groove got started, really momentum. You know how Groove got started? And what happened is during COVID. We're ready to launch. We got it all built out, man. We've built out everything. We've invested all our money. We're dead broke practically. All this hours. COVID hits, we're ready to launch. COVID hits. We're on lockdown. We're done. We're not going to sell a membership like Karcher was and ClickFunnels was, $299 a month, $12,000 a year, whatever it was. We're not doing it. It's over, dude. People, it's over, and we're panicking. What are we going to do? And all this other stuff. No one's going to buy. Remember, it was panic back then in the beginning of COVID. You were hoarding everything. You weren't buying a lot of things on wasting things online. And Mike says, what we're going to do? We're going to give it away. We're going to give it away for free. We're not going to charge for it. Ever. He goes, ever. We're not going to charge for it. And that's what happened to Groove, and why Groove was such a hit in the very beginning is we decided to give it away for free, and we did. And no credit card needed. Don't put in your credit card. We don't even care. And that's how Groove took off. And that's how Groove became so big.
So if it wasn't for COVID, you guys were going to sell it.
We don't know what we would have done.
Okay.
We don't know what we would have done. It would have been very, very tough. COVID, in a very ironic and awful way, I would say is count for the number one reason for the success of what had happened. People needed it. They were starting to work from home anyway. They needed the products. We could help out there. But it made us think outside the box. People weren't giving away products like Groove for free. They were offering a free trial. You could test it for 2 weeks. And even Karcher was doing a $1 trial. And Russell, I think, might have had a trial. But it was free. You got every feature, pretty much every feature back then. I think we were angling the twist. But for free, ever. You didn't have to upgrade. How are we going to make money? We found out plenty of ways to make money and get people upgraded. And today, I think there's over 500,000 free members at Groove. And I think there's probably 8 to 12% of those are full upgrades, which is a huge number. For that. Yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, we're over an hour. We usually try to go about an hour, and I've been wanting to mention that we are at the hour. I appreciate your time. Is there anything
before though? You promised me 4 hours, Harris. What's going on?
I promised you 4 hours or before an hour. I want to. Yeah, actually, John, I'm gonna keep you on until the hurricane hits Tellman, and then I'm gonna wait and see if it hits you as well. So just a few more hours. Yeah, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do a 24-hour live stream out of Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, these two guys are in. You guys are in crappy places, and I'm in London, which is also not. At least it's not gonna. At least it won't be a hurricane.
That's right.
Unless Milton just somehow gets across the Atlantic, which knowing the way it looks, who knows? But thanks a lot for being on. If there's anything else you want to add, Tellman put up your website a little bit ago if people want to find out more about you, or they can
guys, go to johncornetta.com if you want to check out what John's working on.
Thank you,
John. This was awesome. Thank you so much for spending the morning with us here.
Thank you.
Got a really interesting, different history than we usually get. I think
we can do a Skype call together, and after that, you're gonna go, "Wow, I didn't know anything about John."
Yeah, exactly. Now you know too much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Harrison. Thank you, Tellman. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Hopefully, I'll see you. If
10 a.m. 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Oh,
it's another 10. It's another 10. Yeah.
That's right. We have another slightly later call tomorrow. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Good luck up there.
Bye.